You're going to have to excuse me coming into the frame like this. My computer camera stopped working, so I'm using a different one today. But I wanted to address something about bringing yourself back into the present moment after you've done a really deep meditation. And it was inspired by a comment from Arif, I hope I've pronounced your name right, Arif, who said, "My thoughts are telling me not to do meditation and get up." Now I'm assuming what you mean by that, Arif, is that you've done a deep meditation, you haven't perhaps been brought out of it properly, and that you're concerned with how you then go about getting on with your day. And it's a really important question. If I work with people on a one-to-one basis and we've gone into doing some deep work or maybe some hypnotherapy, an important part of that work is ensuring that that person is safe to go out and walk down the road, drive their car, look after their children, or get on with their day's work. So what I want to do is share 4 techniques that I use with people. They're really simple to do, and you'll probably find that you actually automatically do at least one of them, if not 2 of them anyway. So the first one begins with a question for you. Imagine you're working on a really difficult project and you can't figure out the next step, and you're just thinking about, what is it I need to do next? You see where my fingers are here, about an inch above my eyebrows. These are really interesting points on your head that we automatically touch when we're trying to figure something out, when we're trying to think about something. And what they do is they start to increase the blood flow to the prefrontal cortex area of your brain, which is where we do a lot of our processing and our conscious thinking. So even if you're still lying down or still sitting in that space after meditation, for about 30 seconds, for a minute, you can just hold these points and start to breathe deeply, and you'll find that you start to sort of come back to yourself. And the second idea is something that, again, if you've been sitting or lying in a position for a long time, you will do automatically. What do we all do? We all take a stretch and we all breathe in a little bit more deeply, which is a really good way to bring ourselves back into our bodies. And I like to add in a little bit of a qigong move, which I really enjoy doing. So as you breathe in, bring your arms up to the front of your body, turn them over at the face. You're inhaling as you pull up, and then when you hold your breath for as long as is comfortable for you, and then as you breathe out, you bring your arms back down. So as you breathe in, bring your hands up. Hold the breath in for as long as is comfortable for you at the top of the lungs, and then breathe out. And what that will do is it will get the energy flooding around your body, it will get the chi moving. It's really good for clearing the lungs, so it's a nice one to do any time that you want to feel a little bit more energized. The third thing we're going to do is a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Now, the thing that really interests me is the way that we use language without sometimes realizing what we're saying, and I don't know if you've ever suggested that you need to come back to your senses, and that's exactly what we're going to do with this technique. We're going to come back to our senses. So for the number 5, you choose a colour, just pick a colour at random. I'll choose blue, and you start to look around your room and you notice the things that are blue and name them. So I've got a blue lampshade, I've got blue curtains, I can see a blue radio over there, there's some blue in the lamp over there, and there's some blue in the cover down on the floor. For number 4, we're going to tune into things that we can hear. It can take a bit longer, right? So I can hear the bird song outside, I can hear my stomach processing my lunch, I've got tinnitus, so I can hear tinnitus inside my own head. And I can hear the electrical sound of something that's plugged in nearby. For 3, we're going to focus in on touch and feeling. So what can you feel? I can feel my body in contact with the surface that I'm on. I'm noticing my hair tickling the side of my face. And I'm noticing that my hands are quite cold at the moment. For number 2, this is where things start to get a little bit more difficult to tune into, but for 2 we're going to sense into the sense of smell. So take an inhalation, what can you smell? And it might be really subtle. For me, there's just a faint sense of some incense sticks that I lit the other night. and there's also a smell of warm dust. I don't know what that says about my housekeeping skills. I lit a heater this morning that I haven't lit for a long time, so it obviously has some dust inside it, so there's that warm dusty smell. And for number one, we're going to focus on the sense of taste. This is quite difficult if you haven't just eaten or brushed your teeth or had a cup of coffee, but I have just eaten and I can just faintly taste some raspberries that I had. So that's that technique. Now if you haven't got time to go through all of those, then you can do it in a quicker way, which brings me on to number four, and that is using your sense of smell and taste again. But what you want to do is find something that smells really strong. For me, that's peppermint essential oil, which has I just love the invigorating aroma of that. And it's really interesting that I choose that oil as well, because science has shown us that when we inhale peppermint, by looking at brain scans, we can see that the brain starts to produce more beta waves, which is exactly where we want to get you now. In meditation, you will most likely have dropped into alpha state, and we want to get you into beta so that you can focus on the task at hand and be aware of what's happening around you and know what you need to do next. If you don't have something to smell, then find something that's quite strong tasting. So something that's really nice for that is lemon, fresh lemon. If you cut a lemon, not only do you get the smell anyway, but by the time you've squirted a couple of drops of fresh lemon juice into your mouth, you're kind of a bit more zingy and a bit more with it and a bit more here and present and in the now. So those are my four simple techniques that I hope help you. Experiment with them, find which ones work for you, and hopefully this will help you get back into yourself, so that not only have you had a great meditation, but you feel ready to get on with your day, you feel safe, you feel present. If you've got any questions about this, please leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. You're going to have to watch me turn my camera off now.